My name's Louise Hill. I am the co-founder and chief operating officer at gohenry. And gohenry is a debit card and app that empowers kids to use money in the way that they will be able to use money when they're adults, and gives parents a tool that they can help teach their kids about money in the modern world.
I was reading up about your backstory, as in gohenry's backstory. So I wondered if you could tell us what was the inspiration behind creating gohenry.
Well, we founded gohenry in 2012. It was myself and two others. Really, after realizing we're all parents, all with kids at the same school, realizing that there was nothing out there that could help teach our kids about how to be good with money. Um, and the backstory really is we were all stood watching a football match at the school, which our various children were playing in, and I started talking to some of the other parents about the fact that my kids had been lucky enough both to be given iPods for birthdays and Christmases, and I very foolishly had given them the login to my iTunes account, and they were having a grand old time downloading lots of music without a care in the world, and definitely without any concept that they were spending money. And I was trying to figure out, what do I do? How do I teach them? And I pinned, in those days, iTunes used to send you an email with an invoice on, and I started pinning them to the wall, to the fridge, and on a Saturday morning kind of going, hey, Isabella, you would normally get £5, but you've spent £4.20 on iTunes this week, so guess what? 80p. You can imagine, little sad face in front of me, and yet again, mum's the bad guy. And when that conversation started, just so many other parents who were there joined in and went, oh my goodness, my child bought XYZ on eBay, or oh my gosh, Billy ran up a £600 bill on his Xbox. And we started to realize that actually this was a problem that all of us were experiencing, and there was nothing there. And that really was the if there is a eureka moment, that was it. And myself and two of the dads at the school, we were good friends anyway, we started meeting on a Thursday night at a local restaurant, just to kind of work through, could we do this? Was there something here that we could figure out what to build and how to build it, and create a business to solve this problem. And that's how it started. So on day one, it was all about making kids good with money. And 9 years later, it is still, our mission is to make every kid good with money.
And on that note, what is the target age group for gohenry?
We offer the service to children from the age of 6 all the way up to 18. So you can imagine, that's a massive change in children's behaviors, needs and requirements in that age range. So we have to tailor the product accordingly.
And how is it different for younger kids versus for like 16 to 18-year-olds, say?
I think probably the first thing to anchor back to is that there's a fantastic study from Cambridge University that shows clearly that children's financial habits are largely formed by the age of 7, which is quite a terrifying thought if you think about it, particularly if you think in the UK that the first financial education that's done at school is secondary school pupils, so is 11 plus. And those financial habits, they form into core behaviors, which kids then take into adulthood. And ultimately, that then affects financial decisions during the rest of their lives. So we know that it's fantastically important to start young. And yeah, if you think about the behaviors and the needs and the level of independence of a 6 to 8-year-old, or let's say a 6-year-old, there the parent is very much more in control, very much more concerned about knowing exactly what the child's doing. Frankly, most kids are going out with their parents, and the gohenry card might be in the parent's wallet rather than in the kid's hand. And then you look at a 16-year-old, they're out and about, they're operating independently, they might not think so, but they still need mum and dad in the background, if only as a source of funds. but also keeping a watchful eye and making sure things are okay. But there, the balance between parent and child has really shifted, and the control levels have shifted. So our a couple of years ago, we released a teen version of the product, and it's, you know, at age 13, our customers migrate into GoHenry Teen, and the look is different, the feel is different, different personalized cards available, the language is different, the lots of things are different to make it appropriate to their age group.
And what would you say to any parents out there who are a bit nervous about giving their kid a contactless debit card and sending them out into the world?
Maybe this would be a controversial statement, but even more scary would be not to give them the opportunity to learn about it and wait until they're 18, and then suddenly buy now, pay later is available, credit cards are available. My 18-year-old son has just been bombarded with car loan offers. How scary is that? With hideous interest rates on them. Learning young in a controlled environment, in a safe environment where parents can set the limits and decide what is right for their set of beliefs and for their individual kids is a safe way to do it, and a great way to empower the kids to learn, to make mistakes. You know, it's a good thing if they make mistakes in that safe environment. There's our CEO a couple of years ago came out with a great line, which was far better to make a £20 mistake age 7 than a £2,000 mistake age 27. You know, it really is.
Absolutely. One of the things we spotlighted at Finder for GoHenry was how great your parental controls are. So I wondered if you could tell us a bit about those.
Sure, yes. It really is about empowerment of the kids, which might sound counterintuitive, really, when you're saying control, but a parent can set up automatic pocket money payments to go to their children and teens. They can choose whether they want to use our chores feature, in which case they can set tasks or chores that the kids have to do to earn their pocket money, which is a great way to learn that, you know, money doesn't grow on trees and it has to be earned. And then the parent can decide how much can be spent, that there is a single transaction limit and a weekly spend limit that can be set, and where, you know, they can switch on or off online spending, in-store spending, or usage at an ATM. And alongside that, there is a child app which the child can see how much they're spending. They can set up savings goals and targets. They can gift money. We call them micro donations, but to our charity partner in the UK, the NSPCC. But equally, the parent is getting a little ping on their phone saying that Louise just tried to spend £4.99 at New Look, and that's been declined because it's over her weekly spend limit. And that triggers those all-important conversations. You know, if we can use the service to trigger conversations in the home about money and about what we call the 4 pillars of money management, the earning, saving, spending, and giving, then that's creating a healthy environment where money's being discussed. Parents can give the benefit of their experience, and there's a structure to that.
Yeah, you've kind of covered some of these, but I just wondered if very simply you could just tell us about how GoHenry works. I think it's a linked account. Yeah, if you could just explain how GoHenry.
Yes, it is. So when a parent signs up for GoHenry, we create a parent GoHenry account, and then the parent can have up to 4 children attached to that account, and each child has their own GoHenry account. There is an app for the parent, there is a separate app for the child, and the parent can set the rules and limits that they want to put in place. So as I said, that where the card can be used, online, in store, or at an ATM, how much spend limits they want to set, so a single transaction limit and a weekly spend limit, and they can set up automatic pocket money payments. The child can set up savings goals and targets. They can have as many as they want of those. And then as the child grows, once they hit 13 and they move into our teen experience, if they have a part-time job, their employer can pay their salary straight into the GoHenry account. The teenager can start to use peer-to-peer functionality and can, if they need to pay their mate back for a pizza that they ate last night, they can transfer that money across to their friend. And something that came massively into its own actually during last year and the pandemic, we have a gift links functionality, which really was designed to allow grandparents and aunts and uncles and family friends to gift money into the children. We found some quite innovative uses for that during the pandemic, where in the first lockdown, where families couldn't get together and Easter happened, we were a bit concerned that the Easter Bunny might not be able to visit houses and give Easter eggs, but we suggested that perhaps the Easter Bunny might like to use gift links, and we saw a huge uplift over the Easter weekend of the use of that functionality as grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins sent Easter gifts into the kids.
So we know, kids banking products have really boomed in the last year or so. Yep. What sets GoHenry apart?
I think really, for one, when we started GoHenry back in 2012, we created a new category. I was smile when I say that, but we did. We were first in market, and we're still the market leaders today, with a global community of over 1.5 million customers. And I will always say who like us believe fiercely that being good with money is a vital life skill. Our focus has always been on building a service that grows with the community. So we spend a huge amount of time talking to our customers. And that's the parents, the 16-year-olds, the 10-year-olds, the 6-year-olds, and understanding how they use the service, what they want, what we haven't got yet that they want to use. And we use that information to develop the service further and offer greater value. So I mentioned we brought in the teen account, and that was a recognition that the product needed to change as the child grew. A year ago, we launched our eco card, which I find this amazing. The card is made from field corn. So it's biodegradable. It's much less plastic in it. You still have to have the little metal chip in it and various bits, but massively more eco-friendly than the plastic cards that are in my wallet. And lots of other services developing after that. Then I guess we ensure we have a very distinct value proposition. So it's personalized financial education, not one size fits all. It's central to how old is the child, how are they using the service, what parts of the service are they using, which ones haven't they tried yet. Personalized financial education, segmentation of the product by age. I guess I've already mentioned gift links, etc., but a family experience. So bringing in, a child is not solely involved with the parent. There's aunts, uncles, grandmas, granddads, family friends. As they get older, there's their friends as well. Our personalized cards, we're one of the only players in the market who offer a wide range of different cards and card designs. I've mentioned our eco card, our personalized cards. Yesterday, we launched a range of 5 Olympic cards in conjunction with Visa and Sky Brown, the skateboarder who's at the Olympics. We have a teen card that's matte and black with a red edge. I think at last I looked, I think we were on 78 different card designs. And that was before the 5 that we launched yesterday. And then the brand, I truly believe we've built a brand that people trust. And it's a brand that seeks to empower kids and teens with tools and knowledge to understand the world they live in.
What trends do you think we're seeing in kids' bank accounts, both in terms of like traditional bank accounts and pocket money apps?
Mm-hmm. I think there's been a distinct trend over the last 3-4 years. You've said earlier that the investment in the children's account sector has exploded in the last year, 18 months, and many more services have come to market. And that's fantastic, because, you know, anything that adds to the chance that a child will get good financial education when they're young is music to our ears. But have to mention, of course, the rise of digital payments and e-com. You know, Gen Z is often named as the first generation that were true digital natives. Well, they are absolutely true cashless natives. They've grown up with e-com being a natural thing that everybody does, and Gen Alpha coming along behind them even more so. So, you know, you being able to use money to buy online is a fundamental requirement for young people now, which 4 years ago perhaps it wasn't. And they need to have a means to interact with the economy the way they will as adults. I think another key trend is the focus on EdTech, and particularly on financial literacy, and that will continue to grow. And as I mentioned, the digital and e-com levers, the world is becoming ever more cashless. You know, in the pandemic, many companies, particularly small shops, stopped accepting cash. Much more shopping went online. And really, young people are leading the way. I mean, young people often are the early adopters, and I think young people are leading the way in that.
So I've kind of got two questions that I might as well ask together, because they kind of feed into all of what you've just said. So one is, how has the pandemic affected kids' banking products? Yep. And then the second is about this cashless future you talk about, and how do you think GoHenry particularly is helping kids to navigate that?
So in terms of what changed during the pandemic and what we saw there, we actually released our latest youth economy report a few months ago, which looked at the financial behaviours of over 400,000 UK children and teenagers during COVID-19, during the whole of 2020. And it showed us that the pandemic has made British kids acutely aware of money, and interestingly, acutely aware of the impact it has on people's lives, I think. So for things that really stood out, we've referred to it in the youth report, as youth economy report, as savvy savers. So savings increased by 77% during lockdown 1. And during that period, children and teenagers, brace yourself, saved a total of almost 13 million pounds, which equated to 12% of their total income. And I don't know about you, but the idea that you'd be able to save 12% of your income is quite a nice one. And when we looked at what they were saving for items to help them get through lockdown. So a lot of entertainment, a lot of tech, you know, upgrading their laptops or buying an Xbox or something like that. I think the second one was kindness, which might sound a strange one to say when we're talking about money, but the GoHenry kids showed a real kindness in crisis with charity donations. We partner with the NSPCC in the UK and allow kids to donate even 2 pence to the NSPCC, and charity donations rose 59% on pre-pandemic figures. And you know, that is really quite telling, that the kids were no doubt watching the television. They were at home, their parents were at home, they were listening to conversations in the house about money, perhaps, you know, maybe about parents who were on furlough or had lost a job. They reacted by donating to the NSPCC, and you know, I think that's something just amazing. Last year, I think it was £66,000 given in micro donations by GoHenry kids. Then entrepreneurial spirit. So their earnings were up 20%. And that was a mix of, that was really interesting to look at, actually. A mix of parents leaning on their kids to get the kids to help them out at home. So we saw some very funny tasks set up. Lots more of rather than short regular tasks like empty the dishwasher or feed the dog. There were a lot more tasks like paint the garden shed. You could see parents trying to keep their kids busy, trying to get something positive done. And then some really more unusual tasks. There was, I've got a stat here, 172% rise in earnings for taking exercise. Parents really trying to get their kids active and keep them active and encourage them to do that. And then finally, I said there were 4, cash absolutely no longer king. So we've always known at GoHenry that Gen A, Gen Z prefer using cards, contactless, online shopping. Last year, more than half of GoHenry spend was online. Over half of the children we surveyed admitted they were wary about handling cash because of COVID and infection concerns. And where in 2018, when we'd done our last report, as I said, we already knew they preferred not to use cash. In 2018, 14% of money was withdrawn as cash. In 2020, it was only 9%. So, some real shifts in behavior. I suspect some of those shifts are echoed in adult changes in behavior, but particularly the entrepreneurial approach to finding new ways to earn money and the giving, the kindness, giving to other people. I think, there's a lot of things we could take away from those behaviors. And I also think it bodes fantastically well for the future. If those are the generations that are coming through, they're really responsible, caring people.
So my penultimate question is, how would you compare the GoHenry app to 18 plus banking apps like Monzo, for example?
So if I were asked to compare GoHenry and what we offer to Monzo or one of the other digital challenger banks, in some ways very similar. We pride ourselves on a super slick digital experience, everything real time, notifications, very simple to access information, very simple to pull up anything that you want to know. And I think I would say the same about some of the digital challenger banks. They've really done that incredibly well. Obviously, different age groups being served. So, we offer cards to parents of kids from 6 to 18. There are a couple of the challenger banks who now, one of the challenger banks offers 16 plus. There is another challenger bank who offer a junior version, and they offer some similar things to us. I think I would say, we this is what we do. We cater to kids. We were set up to provide a service to and tools for kids and parents. It's not an add-on to us. It's not an add-on to our main business. It's not a way to bring in customers younger and that end up with mortgages, etc. out the end of it. But yeah, there are similarities and there are differences.
And finally, what is your favorite GoHenry feature?
As a parent, I loved the tasks and chores. Now you're seeing the control freak in me. My 2 kids are both kind of grown up now. One's 23, works in GoHenry, and the other one's 20 at university. Very, very different kids. I won't name names because they'll blush. One of them, when we had chores to do around the house, they just did it. They just did them. Never any question. Just got on, did them, didn't have to chase. The other one, oh my word. I used to spend my entire life kind of going, why do you think I'm going to do X, Y, Z if you can't even empty the dishwasher when I ask you to? You're part of this family. So chores and tasks. With that particular child, I set up all of their pocket money had to be earned. And then I was able to sit back and it was, I'm trying not to say he or she, it was their decision because I have one of each and that would give it away. It was their decision. You know, if they emptied the dishwasher, great, they got the money. If they didn't empty the dishwasher, great, they didn't get the money. Don't come crying to me that you can't go to the cinema with your friends. And it stopped me being the bad guy. If you were to ask me with my work head on, I love the giving app, the giving function. We added that later. We started with earning, saving, spending, and we added giving later because we could see just how many kids were giving to charity. And I just love to see how many of them actually care about it, and they can either give one-off donations or they can set up a weekly amount to come out as soon as their pocket money is paid. And it's a really high percentage of kids that do that. And I think that's great. I think that understanding at an early age that you can help others that are not as fortunate as you is a great one.